You don't want a piece of these streets. It'll make you go bye-bye. You think you're hot but you don't want this heat. It'll make the helicopters fly by.
Visionary, welcome to Transformation Tuesday. Welcome to Transformation Tuesday. Yes, welcome to Transformation Tuesday. I have truly transformed. I have transformed. Let me tell you something. I have truly transformed. Oh my goodness. Thank you to the Spirit of the Sun. I have truly transformed. My personality is back. My energy is back. I am bubbly and I'm here. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you to be out of depression. Thank you to be out of depression. So, welcome to Transformation Tuesday. How was Mindful Monday? We talked about connecting with the elements. Connecting with the elements, honestly, is the first way of being mindful so that you're not jealous or envious of something that is on the outside. You must be mindful of the emotions that are coming through you. Mindfulness is beautiful. Mindfulness is just taking time to be like, I feel envious at the moment. I feel jealous at the moment. There's nothing wrong with these emotions. Is when you act them out and you don't actually acknowledge them. That, I'm feeling a bit jealous and I'm feeling a bit envious, because now you're going to end up in prison. You're going to end up doing some things that you cannot take back, and your life will be a living nightmare. You will be running around mad, country to country, trying to hide because you know what you have done and you can't stand in the truth of what you have done. You don't want to get there. That is just so unattractive. So I hope that you enjoyed Mindful Monday. And if you have not watched Mindful Monday, here's a link here. Is it here? This side. Here's a link. Please go and watch Mindful Monday. It's important to be mindful of your emotions. Your emotions are communicating a deeper need. Okay? I think I'm going to have to get a new sarong. Well, I have quite a few sarongs, but I thought I'd just tell you this. But I think I'm going to have to get new sarongs, because I'm just loving living in the sun, and I'm just loving these sarong experiences. And I'm just why not be in the sarong experience? Sarong. Okay, so today I would love to talk about transforming the feeling of disappointment from our family. So I was sitting with myself and I was asking myself this question. I was just feeling, I had a day last week where I was just deeply in my feelings. I was weeping. Let me tell you something. I was in tears, and I had my curtains closed, and I was in my room, and I was just crying while I was in my office, and I was just crying uncontrollably. And I was like, oh my God, I guess there are some tears that need to be cried and need to be shed, because it was quite something. And I remember saying to my dad, I just feel so let down by you. I feel like you didn't love me and protect me. And I just feel so let down because, I told you about the fact that I talk to my dad every day. And so I was feeling really, really let down. And then I think it was 4 hours after this whole experience, my husband was like, I can't take it anymore. Yeah, my husband was just I can't take it anymore with your emotions. I just can't. And I'm just I just need my own time to just go and cry it out. And I think it's so important for us as visionaries, as chosen ones, as future leaders, as starseed light workers, whatever you label yourself. It is so important to acknowledge our emotions. When you've got to have a moment where you've just got to schedule some time to cry, you got to do this. I don't understand why people do not want to do this. But let me tell you something. Before I went to therapy, I also used to bottle my emotions in. When I started going to therapy and I started crying in therapy at 16 years old, I stopped bottling my emotions. Honestly, when you bottle your emotions, you live like a crazy person, because these emotions are like bottled up inside of you, and they're like, "Rah!" And the day you let them out, it's like rage or theft or like trying to kill somebody, or just some really nasty things. I don't know. I just love my emotions. I really love my emotions. But after I had that 4-hour cry, it was quite something. Honestly, it was quite something. Honestly, it was really, really quite something. But I felt such a huge release. And I was speaking to my dad, and I was like, I feel so let down by you. And after kind of 4 hours, I was able to have those really deep conversations with him. And I saw that no, not entirely. My dad didn't let me down. My mother didn't let me down. They performed the job they were supposed to perform to the best of their ability, so that I could just be here on planet Earth and awaken. I know you don't want to hear this. You're like, what? No, my family abused me. My family. I want to acknowledge that. Remember, I said you are entitled to hate your parents if you want to, until you get tired of hating them. You are entitled to this. Nobody can tell you how you must feel about your family, about your siblings, about the world. Nobody who has the right to come and tell you how you must feel and control your emotional state. No. Nobody has the right to do this. Okay, you need to take back your authority. You need to take back your power. So if you are feeling enraged, you are feeling disappointed by your family, disappointed by your parents, maybe one parent, maybe two parents, you are entitled to say, you know what, I feel disappointed. This is why I was sharing this practice with you. Even if your parents have not transitioned, if you just don't talk to them, and you can't talk to them, because if you talk to them, then the narcissism starts up again, or it's good for a month and then the things start up again, and then you're down in the dumps and all of these sad stories, and you're crying, oh, beautiful butterfly, oh, so beautiful. And then you're down in the dumps again, and the sad stories are just, oh, no. I won't do the hoovering in and out and the tears and the dramas. I cannot. I will not. So I would rather just sit there and cry by myself. So what you can do, though, if you still have a picture of your mom or your dad or your grandmother or your whoever raised you, or whoever, like even with past relationships that have ended, where you still do not have closure in those past relationships, if you have a picture, I try not to share this with people, because then people go and do black magic on people with photos and stuff like this. But honestly, if you know that you're a true chosen one, if you know you're a true visionary, and you're not going to be doing some black magic on that picture or that photo, and you're going to be in integrity, take this with your integrity and use what I share with you. But take the picture of the person that you need closure from. Light a candle. A white candle would be the best, and just sit there and meditate. And what I do first is I do a Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I do a Ho'oponopono 108 times. So I'll say one Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. 108 times. So one set is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. That's one set. And I'll do that 108 times. And then I will then start writing my either letter or questions or venting or hatred or whatever it is I want to write to that person. And then I will sit there and meditate, and whatever I can download or whatever that just pops into my mind is the conversation that I need to really have with that person, that just maybe was not clear or just needs closure. You don't need to go and get closure from your parents if you know that you're going to end up getting hurt. And especially if you're feeling that sense of disappointment, that they disappointed you, they just let you down, they didn't give you what you thought you should have had in their relationship with you as their child, as part of the family, which we know chosen ones and visionaries and star seeds and, you know, all of us with our pretty labels, we just feel so wounded. Your pain is valid. Honestly, your pain is valid. There's people that I've talked to. This is why I don't talk to people about my problems. I just go talk to trees about my deepest things. But like, there's people I've shared, like, they were like, oh, so do you see your parents? I'm like, no. And they're like, but don't you miss your parents? I'm like, a lot. So like, why don't you go see them? I just sometimes don't want to explain what is going on in my life. I'm just like, oh, I'm just busy and I'm doing my own stuff. Oh, okay, great. But you can see the judgment in their eyes, right? You can see people's judgment. Oh, you don't go and see your parents. Like, what kind of a person are you? There's a lot of people here where I live that are just like disengaged from their families. It's just a part of life. There's a lot of people in Europe that are disengaged from their families, America, and in Africa, it's becoming a thing now. Also, a lot of people are like estranged from their they are estranging from their family because they can't handle it. Well, especially once you've had a spiritual awakening, you can't I was listening to one girl on YouTube. She was like, I'm so alone. I need friends. I'm like, girl. She's like, I just lost my job. I'm so alone. She's in Africa. I just lost my job. I'm so alone. I need friends. I'm like, you need to go through this alone, honestly. It's so beneficial. We can all be friends on YouTubes, but it's beneficial to go through this alone. But talking about the candle and the paper, and the photo and the paper, once you have done the forgiveness work, it allows you to access that person's energy with integrity. Warlocks and witches like to access people's energies. They take your photos and they take these things to shamans and warlocks, and okay, some shamans are really good, but they take this to dark altars and they put your picture there and they do witchcraft on you and all of this rubbish. These things don't work. Honestly, they really don't work. They can affect you for a little bit, but if you're a strong visionary, if you're a strong chosen one, these things will not work on you. Look, I have bounced back from depression, and depression was meant to put me in such a low vibration so that I unalived myself. Oh my goodness, I have such a beautiful self. Why would I want to unalive this amazing self? Oh, hail to the no. No, thank you. I have too much to live for, and I won't be if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be friends with you, and I want to really be friends with you on the YouTubes. Okay, so it's valid. You have to feel your emotions. You have to say, yes, I am really angry right now. I feel betrayed. I feel disappointed by my family, and do not allow people to gaslight you. This is where I was going with this. I always talk around and then I get back to the point. Do not allow people to gaslight you. Well, if you left, then, I mean, really, why are you feeling bad about it? Fuck you. I'm allowed to feel bad if I want to feel bad. I'm allowed to feel whatever I want to feel. And you have no right to gaslight me because you didn't walk in my shoes. You didn't know the hell I lived. You didn't know what stress I lived through or anxiety I lived through. So you tell them, I give you permission. Okay, don't say the cuss word if you're not don't say the cuss word if it's not your thing. But like, honestly, I've had so many people try to gaslight me. Well, then, you know, if you feel so disappointed, this is why I don't tell people my stories or my troubles. I just go to a tree, because even my husband doesn't want to listen to it anymore. I just go to a tree and tell the tree all my troubles, and I do my mindfulness mentoring sessions. Of course, I've got Detox from depression, because honestly, you are going to be depressed during this experience. It is part of the human experience to be connected. And if we all have these ideas that we were supposed to have perfect families that loved us, that cared for us, that were going to be there for us until we die. Unfortunately, this is not the case, because we have made a choice to walk away, or the choice was made. Well, actually, we made the choice because we're visionaries, so we take responsibility, right? We take responsibility. So do not allow people to gaslight you. Don't allow people to gaslight you. If people are like, and you're sharing with someone that, you know, you're having a hard time, you feel disappointed, I advise you, as a visionary, as a chosen one, keep your things to yourself. You can, in the description below, you can find a link on Detox from Depression, Revitalize Your Life, where I walk you through therapeutic processes. I call them mindfulness mentoring sessions, where they help you just start analyzing the thoughts that are keeping you in bondage, that are keeping you in fear, that are keeping you sad, because I had to go through it myself. And this is why now I'm happy and I'm out of my depressions. But getting back to the point, do not allow people to gaslight you in saying, oh, but if you miss them, if you feel disappointed, why don't you just go back? I'm sorry, you don't know what my life is. You weren't walking in my shoes. Please keep your comments to yourself. I thought you were a safe space where I could come and share this, but clearly you're not, because you're dysfunctional. And we can't expect people to be our therapists. We can't expect our friends to be our therapists. We can't expect our monks to be our therapists, our spiritual teachers to be our therapists. We can't expect our spouses to be our therapists. We've got to be our own therapists. We've got to learn how to decipher our own thoughts and our own emotions without going around burdening people with the things that we are going through. This is part of being a visionary. This is part of being a chosen one. And as a chosen one, as a visionary, as a starseed, as a light worker myself, I said, oh my goodness, you're going to get yourself into some serious problems. I got myself into those serious problems, and this is why I decided to create my mindfulness mentoring sessions, because this is how I helped myself get out of depression without getting myself into more relationships, toxic relationships where people are wanting to kill me. I need to stop saying this because nobody can ever kill me. But where people are just dumping their problems onto me. You know what I mean? I know I'm talking fast today, but mindfulness mentoring, detox your life. In the description below, you will find details to detox your life. Detox from depression, revitalize your life. Yeah, it's important that you acknowledge the emotions. It's very important that you acknowledge the feelings that you're going through. And it's also important to acknowledge that nobody has a right to gaslight you. Yes, you have chosen to walk away, but nobody has a right to gaslight you in that experience. And if you're feeling sad and you're feeling disappointed about the way your relationship ended with your family, that's your right. You have a right to this. Who said you shouldn't have a right to this? You have a right to this. Yeah? So I just wanted to come and validate you on that, because I had my crying experience. And then I transformed that emotion of just feeling disappointed. I transformed that energy. And yeah, I did one of my mindfulness mentoring sessions. I have so many of these mindfulness mentoring sessions, and they are all different. They are never the same. They are all different. Once I have transformed an emotion, I will create one, and I realize, if I am going through this, that means another visionary is going through this. That means another chosen one is going through this. That means another leader is going through this. So yeah, in the description below. Check it out. It's really good stuff. If I might just say so myself. It's very good stuff. This is how I got out of my own depression. I wanted to say something else about this. Transformation. Another thing. Your parents were just here to bring you to this life experience. The rest is up to you. The rest is up to you. Once I finished talking to my dad, and once I finished doing my mindfulness mentoring experience, I came back to the realization that God is my mother, God is my father. I chose my beautiful parents to come into this life experience so they could just bring me into this life experience so that I could experience enough pain so that I could wake up and say, God is my mother and God is my father. But it takes time, right? We talked about it, that there is the conscious mind, there is the unconscious mind where you're just feeling the pain of disappointment and you're bawling your eyes out. There is the collective unconscious where I'm like, if I'm feeling like this, that means a whole lot of visionaries are feeling like this, a whole lot of chosen ones are feeling like this, alone in the world, just feeling so disappointed. So I was also feeling the energy of the collective unconscious. And then after we worked through that, it took me like 6 hours, 4 hours of crying, and then just working through that. And then by the 6 hours mark, 7 hour, I was in the mind of God, where I was like, my oneness, my connection with divinity. And then I came outside and just looked at the trees and took a deep breath, and I walked on the earth barefoot, and I was like, so grateful. So I started off really in the dumps, crying uncontrollably. And then by the time I was done with that experience, I was so grateful and so connected to life. I was so connected to nature. I was so connected to myself. I was even able to just give thanks for my parents and the ability they gave me to come to this life experience. But listen, this has taken me over 20 years to be able to get to these stages. If you are just starting out and you are just in that stage of conscious awareness, the conscious mind, and you're just feeling overwhelmed and your body is just angry, it's okay. You don't have to be where I am. It has taken me over 20 years to get to this, of serious hard work, ayahuasca, psychology training, ministerial school, all sorts of these things. Okay, so I don't expect you to be where I'm at. I don't. This is why I create the programs that I create, and I create what I create for chosen ones, because I know that we are all at different stages, and that's okay. You've got to ascend to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage, but that's the whole purpose of it. During each ascension stage, when I was just starting out in therapy and I was at the conscious mind, I was in therapy, and then I started doing my yogas, and then I started doing my ayahuasca at the collective unconscious, and then ministerial school and all of that took me to the next level. So we're all at different stages. It's okay to be where you are. It's okay to feel how you feel. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not a bad person, as long as you're just not hanging out with narcissists and taking on narcissistic energy. But just acknowledge where you are and say, yeah, I feel like crap right now, and this is okay. Yeah? So, in the comments below, let's have some dialogue. So, what have you learned about your emotions? It is okay to feel angry at your parents. Totally. It is okay to feel disappointed at your parents. It is okay to feel totally disappointed with God. This was a novel concept to me, because I said, God, how could you give me parents like this? And God was like, really? You chose these parents. 20 years ago, I could never say this. I was just blaming my parents. It has taken me over 20 years to get to this stage where I'm like, God is my mother, God is my father. I chose these beautiful people to come into this life experience so that I could learn what I needed to learn, so that I could awaken and reconnect to my God mind. Okay, so do not judge yourself through your process. Just look at, what have I learned? Oh, I'm angry at my parents. Okay, maybe I learned that I could actually just take a picture of my parents, take a white candle, do my Ho'oponopono, which is forgiveness work, and after that, just write a letter to my parents, or whatever parent, or whoever you need closure with, and see what comes out of that. Be willing to give yourself time to turn within, check. The more you check, the more you transform. That's why it's Transformation Tuesday. If you escape and you do anything else but sit down with your emotions, I'm not asking you to sit down with your emotions for 7 hours. I had to go through my own process. But in going through my own process, I was able to create something for myself and for the collective. Okay? But for you, it's just you sitting down with yourself and saying, I'm important enough. I am so important that if I feel something that doesn't feel good in my emotions, I'm going to sit down with myself and those emotions and that pain, and I'm just going to say, what's going on here? What's going on? So in the comments below, let's have a dialogue. Let's have dialogue. Let's have dialogue. What did you learn from this video? What did you learn about the anger you feel towards your parents? The anger you feel towards not having closure with someone. You are entitled to closure. You can give yourself that without that person being in the room. You dig? You dig? You dig? Just saying, something like this. Something like this. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've learned something. Teacher Tembi is always teaching. You better damn learn something, child. Learn something. Let me make myself beautified. Yes, let me make myself beautified. It's all about learning. and unlearning things that no longer serve us and learn something new. Learn it. All of the things that you need are within you. Just take the time to sit down with yourself. I constantly give you practices that I practice myself, and if you want to go deeper, please look in the description box below. You can invest in Detox from Depression. I swear to you, this will accelerate to the next level. Swear to you, this is how I made it. And if you don't believe me, go to my first YouTube video that I put up on this channel and see what a hot mess I look like, and see what I look like now. So lovely, so alive, so here. So please don't forget, what do they say? Subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, I don't know, do all of these things that you have to do here on the YouTubes so that we can keep a relationship. I like to keep a relationship with you. Look, I have been consistent for 7 days. I am so proud of myself. It's all about consistency, but it's because I'm out of depression. That's why I can be consistent, and I can just work on myself. And I just spend my days just doing my videos. Oh, thank God I'm out of depression. Get out of your depressions. Detox from depression. I'm all for this. Detox from depression. Because if you detox from depression, you don't know how far your life can go. Honestly, I'm experiencing things that I didn't know that I could experience. Well, I knew that I could experience them just 2 years ago, but I didn't even have the courage. Not the courage, but the strength. I was just damn tired. Look at me now. God's beauty. Say this about yourself. I am the radiance of the universe. I am the beauty of life. I am the creative expression of the universe. Everything I need is already within me. I am radiant. I am beauty. I am love. Just like that. Oh yeah, say that to yourself every single day. Take a mirror and look at yourself in the mirror and say, yo, so beautiful, so amazing. Woo! God's beauty. Okay, I love you. Before I talk too much, you know I can go on for like 5 hours and talk to you about this stuff. Especially when it comes to these kinds of things, I can talk to you for 10 hours. I gotta go. Bye.